Hello everyone and welcome back to another Star Wars action figure review. This time around we're taking a look at another Black Series 6-inch figure, once again from the 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back, and this time around we are taking a look at Luke Skywalker in his Snowspeeder pilot gear. This is the second brand new figure to be released in the 40th anniversary line. The rest of the figures in the 40th anniversary series are of course repacks, repaints that utilise the photoreal face printing technology, but this figure and the previously reviewed Hoth Rebel Trooper are the only two brand new additions to the line, but they are very cool. This Luke Skywalker figure is exceptional. Hasbro have done a fantastic job with it. He's a little bit on the light side, no pun intended, in terms of accessories, and we will touch base on that later on in this video. And he does have one slight flaw that again I'll touch base on later on, and it's more down to personal preference than anything else. It's not something that ruins the figure by any means. Before we jump into the review itself, once again, a huge thanks goes out to the guys at Hasbro for providing one of these figures for a review as part of their 40th anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back press promo box that I received a couple of months ago. As you can see, I do have a second carded sample, which was purchased via staractionfigures.co.uk, and as always there is a link down below in the video description where you can purchase this figure for yourself. If for whatever reason you missed out on the vintage card release, then again fear not, as with the Rebel Soldier, this figure will be released later on in the year as part of the regular Black Series line. So before we jump into the figure itself, let's as always take a look at the packaging that he comes in, and once again we do have really nice 40th anniversary packaging for this figure. As you can see, I did decide to keep this one on the card. That's because I wanted to add him to a display alongside my Black Series Luke Skywalker X-Wing pilot helmet. But the card itself looks really nice as well. Obviously this figure never saw a release in the original vintage line back in the 1980s, so the card image is a brand new one. It's a mock-up, as you can see, with a photo of Luke photoshopped alongside the landscape of the Hoth ice planet. The figure itself looks really nice inside the bubble there. You've got the Kenner logo down in the bottom corner, the Empire Strikes Back logo at the top, and of course the foil sticker in the top corner for the 40th anniversary of the Empire Strikes Back. On the reverse side of the box we do have some other figures available in the line. We'll be taking a look at R2-D2 next, so stay tuned for that. But again, most of these figures in this line are indeed repaints and repacks. But this figure is brand new, and we're going to take a look at him in just a moment. But really nice packaging on this one. What's really cool as well is that this card has been reused in the retro collection as well for the Snowspeeder Luke figure that's been included with the Hoth Ice Planet adventure game, very similar to the Death Star game that was released with Grand Moff Tarkin. So there we go, that is the packaging for Luke in his Snowspeeder gear. Now let's take a look at the figure that we get inside, and once again this figure does not disappoint. Really impressed with this one. Hasbro nailed it in terms of sculpt, detail and articulation. This is another great addition to the Black Series line in terms of all those aspects. I'm really impressed with this figure, and I'm very happy that I was able to add him to the collection. As I mentioned earlier on in the video, he is a little bit light on the accessories side, and that is due to the fact that he doesn't really come with a whole lot. In terms of accessories, he just comes with the removable helmet and the lightsaber, when there's a plethora of different accessories that this figure could have included. For example, the blaster pistol that we see Luke use when he lands on Dagobah and obviously points it in the direction of Yoda when he feels like he's being watched. That would have been a nice addition. You know, the same blaster that was included with the X-Wing pilot Luke, for lack of a better term. And also the harpoon gun that he uses, or the grappling hook gun that he uses to shoot himself up into the belly of the AT-AT during the Battle of Hoth. That is an essential accessory in my opinion, and despite it not being included with this figure, it has been included with the 6-inch scale Snowspeeder. So I suppose in many ways it's better that we at least get it in some form than not at all, but in my opinion it should have been included with this figure. It's an accessory that Luke uses. It's not an accessory we see in the Snowspeeder on screen. it would have made much more sense in my opinion to be released with this figure. But beggars can't be choosers. It's the hand we've been dealt. Again, I would have just liked to have seen a few more accessories included with this figure. That's not to say, however, that the figure itself is not very good. Again, I'm really impressed with this one. I think Hasbro have done a fantastic job. Articulation on this guy is top notch once again, like with most recent releases in the Black Series line. Articulation is through the roof with this figure. You can get him in some really cool poses. Obviously, with the release of the Black Series Snowspeeder, he's going to have no problems sitting inside that vehicle, and he's going to have no problems being posed in multiple dynamic ways on your shelf either. So we'll touch base on articulation first. He does of course feature a ball joint at the head, nice fluid range of movement there, even with the helmet in place. We do have hinges and a butterfly joint at the shoulder, which is really good. It allows you to pose Luke holding the lightsaber with both hands in a really nice natural way. It doesn't look forced or anything like that. Really nice. I love these butterfly joints. Great addition of articulation there. We have hinges at the elbows and hinges at the wrists. We've got a ball joint at the torso, slightly hindered by the tube that connects from the chest box down into Luke's pocket there, but nothing major. You know, it can still pose reasonably well. Just be careful with that tube, as it may snap through heavy use. We have hinges at the hips, same restrictions again, this time due to the flight harness. Obviously you can't spread the legs too far in this instance without ripping that plastic, which is a shame. But again, in terms of sitting down and getting inside the Snowspeeder, he won't have any problems because he can, you know, sit down, which is really good. You do have swivel cuts at the upper thigh, a double joint in the knee, or is that a single joint? That's a single joint. My apologies. Just a single joint in the knee there, and as always a hinge and a rocker at the ankle. So great articulation. I'm not one of those people that gets irritated by single joint knees. I think these are fine. They work well. Again, the addition of the butterfly joints in the shoulders makes up for that, in my opinion. The sculpt is absolutely fantastic. Obviously all the appropriate details are there on Luke's Snowspeeder flight suit. You've got the chest box there sculpted to the chest. Got nice details on the belt, including a hook for the lightsaber hilt. Nice detail in those canisters around the top of the boots and the Hoth boots that Luke wears as well. Nice sculpting on the gauntlet there. On the reverse side of the figure, you've got these buckles and pouches, other straps, and the helmet is a really nice sculpt as well. Really nicely painted too. All those decals, battle damage, all that kind of good stuff going on there, which looks absolutely fantastic. Now, as I mentioned, in terms of accessories, he does come with a removable helmet. This is one of the flaws of the figure, in my opinion, because once you remove the helmet itself, despite a really well done head sculpt and fantastic photoreal face printing, as you can see, you've got a really nice likeness of Luke Skywalker underneath the helmet. One of the things I don't really like about this figure is the fact that he's wearing the flight cap. This isn't something we ever see Luke wear in the movie. Obviously, if you take a look at the image on the card, the only time we ever see Luke without his helmet in the movie is with his hair showing, which would have been a really nice addition on this figure, in my opinion. I think Luke with his hair flowing in the Hoth winds or the Dagobah swamp, whatever you prefer, would have looked really cool. In some ways, this flight cap takes away from some of the detail and some of the sculpted quality of the figure in many ways. There's just not a whole lot going on once you remove that helmet, and that's a little bit of a shame in my opinion. But the facial sculpt itself is fantastic. Obviously, in terms of practicality, it's accurate because Luke would be wearing a flight cap underneath his helmet, but it's just that if you want to display this figure without his helmet, it just looks a little bit weird in my opinion. But again, that's personal preference, as well as a tad of screen accuracy, but I'm not going to complain about it too much. The lightsaber is really well sculpted as well. Obviously the blade is removable from the hilt, and the hilt can then be plugged onto the belt via that hook, and the blade is nice, thick, and a vibrant blue colour. So all in all, a really nice figure. Great addition to the collection. If you're planning on picking up that Black Series Snowspeeder vehicle, then this is of course a must-have. Or if you're just a fan of Luke Skywalker and the Empire Strikes Back in general, it's a worthy addition to the collection as well. So I definitely recommend picking this one up. Anyway, that's going to do it for this review. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll be back with some more very soon. Until then, as always, thank you for watching, keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.